Did I say that out loud?
Welcome to Did I Say That Out Loud, a podcast where Stu Edens and Mariah Tang reflect on agency life and answer questions from our higher ed and healthcare clients about the latest in digital marketing, content, and SEO.
This podcast is going to be on a recent article. It's made headlines in things like Search Engine Land and places. A study said 60% of searches result in no clicks.
We'll put the link in the show notes.
Now they're quoting another source, and it was a study that was done that said when people search on Google in particular, but any search engine anymore, 6 out of 10 times there's no click out to the wild web to find more information.
That blows my mind as a writer, as a journalist, as a content strategist. Like, you're just going to take for face value what you see on the web?
Well, let's also remember that a significant percentage, they don't really describe that, but a significant percentage isn't that they read something and left, it's that they research. They do their search again because the results weren't quite what they were expecting.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. I used to refer to this as the magic 8-ball with that. I ask a question, I don't get the answer I want. I ask it a different way until I get the answer I'm looking for. How many times have you picked up a magic 8-ball, given it a shake, turn it over, and says the answer is not clear at this point? So you said,
nope.
Hell no. Give it a shake, turn it over. Yes, you're right. It's going to happen. So yeah, in some respects, search is treated just like that magic 8-ball. That's a simplification. People have gotten much better at search.
And search has gotten better at intention.
Yes. Because search is more than just the words you type in. Search is also the accumulation of all the things you did leading up to that point. I had a recent experience, and a little off track here. I had a recent experience where I had been looking for ice cream recipes. I got an ice cream maker for Father's Day. And I thought, oh, that's cool. So I started looking for ice cream recipes. And I did that for just a little while. And then I was asked to come up with a dessert for a 4th of July event. And so I typed in ideas for 4th of July events, all of them were ice cream. Because for days before that had been what I've been looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, you scroll down far enough, you start getting apple pie and all the other fun stuff. But search is also based on your performance and your recent history. However, 60% of search does not result in a click. Yes, that's true. But the click is in this case, click to a non-Google property. A click from search that goes to your YouTube channel is a Google property, and yet it's content you posted. So you really care whether that click went to YouTube or to your website, as long as you were the feature there. That's not a huge percentage. It is a percentage, but it's not like half of these non-click searches. It's not like that. Or it's a click on the map because what I was looking for was directions to, and fill in the blank. And what came up was a result, and my click was onto the Google map to find the direction. Do you really care that people aren't first clicking your link, going to your homepage, scrolling to the bottom of the page, and clicking your address with directions?
Right.
That's inconvenient. Why would you want to put your prospective client or customer through that?
And that's why you go through all of those steps to make sure your Google or whatever search engine properties are set up the way they should be.
It's quite important that we acknowledge that this has been going on for some time. Clickless search is something that I actually report on in analytics. Now, it's not the entirety of all search, clickless search rather. In this regard, what I'm talking about is when people click on the knowledge graph, that's considered a clickless search too. So if I search for, Mariah's dry cleaners, and it comes up with you on at the top of search, but there's this knowledge graph thing on the right-hand side on desktop or at the top in mobile, and I scroll through that, and there's all this information about it, and I wind up clicking on the map to find out how to get to you. That's still considered clickless search because I stayed within the Google domain.
Gotcha.
Bing has the same thing. Yahoo, who cares? I don't think anybody really uses that much anymore. Though they're there. So clickless search has been around for a very long time. It's increasing. And if you think about it, when you add in the AI overviews we're going to get, we could expect an even greater increase in clickless behavior. Now, hold that thought for just a moment. Talk about AI overviews in this in just a few moments. The thing is, don't just pay attention to how many clicks you don't get. Pay attention to the ones you do. And I did a quick sample of 15 different websites that we have analytics access to, not all of them, just randomly pick 15. And every one of them over the last 4 years has shown a consistent increase in organic search traffic coming to their website. So the volume of clickless search is increasing, but then so is the volume of clicked search. Now, one thing I did not find in the article, and I may have to reread it again and go through with a little finer tooth comb. Voice search is in those statistics as well, I believe. And there's no click after a voice search. If I say, oh, I'm not going to say it because it'll turn my phone on, Google, give me tell me about this, that, and the other thing. It's part of the statistical database they have. And of course, there's no click from that when Google reads it back to me. The same thing for Bing. Let's remember that Bing is currently what's being used by the Alexa devices that people have in their homes. So when you ask a question of Alexa, is that incrementing that number in Bing that they're using to say 60%? I think so, but I don't see one way or another. Regardless, the 60% number is the catchy headline. To the limits of their test, it's factual. We can just simply accept that. But the other part about it is we also have to acknowledge that beyond the headline, there's always been clickless activity. Ever since Google started putting a knowledge graph in, started referencing maps, started sending people to YouTube channels. There's always been this clickless behavior that's out there. AI overviews. Hold that thought. So let's return to that for a moment.
I guess.
Yeah. AI overviews. They were released into the general US market about a month and a half ago or so. They're showing up for 7% or less of searches right now. Far less than anybody anticipated. No idea what Google anticipated with this. They're not very forthcoming. But yes, AI overviews could contribute more to clickless search. But at the same time, it's not been a significant percentage of searches that get it.
I do find it interesting that now they're testing this kind of scroll across the bottom where it's like, here's three sites that you might find more information on.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, instead of just, here's the answer. I'm not going to tell you where we got it.
Right. And that was one of the criticisms of Google's AI original Bard, as it was called. It gave you all sorts of information, but no citations.
Yeah.
ChatGPT gave you citations, but it was just hyperlinks either within the content or as hyperlinks of URLs. And if the citation site didn't have plain language URLs, it was just alphabet soup. So
straight plagiarized soup.
Yeah.
Not jaded at all.
No, as the content person says. I guess it is your content being sucked up by AI overviews. So you may have a little more skin in the game than I do. But AI overviews are not having a significant impact yet. Will they? Probably. Google is becoming, well, not just Google, all search. You can say it's about Facebook or searching on TikTok. Search has stopped being a link provider and started being an answer provider. Google's client is the person doing the search, not you and your website, not me and your ads. Google's client is the person doing the search. The more they can satisfy that person, the more the farther they're going to lean into that behavior that did the satisfaction, that generated the satisfaction. People are saying, I want to live in the world of Star Trek. I ask the computer a question, I get one answer, and I'm done. That's the direction. Even Sergey Brin quoted the same thing early on in Google's life that that was the ultimate goal. He even cited the Star Trek computer as one question, one answer, we're good to go, as being kind of the goal of Google at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Unfortunately, search is transactional at this point. There's a reason for search to exist in its current paradigm because I want my site to be found before yours is, Mariah. I want more clicks than you get. I want my ads to be clicked before yours are. There's this transactional competitiveness going on in search right now, and it generates, I don't know, I think the technical term is buttload of money. Uh, when you look at Google's, I believe it was $219 billion revenue last year, and 80% of that came from ad clicks.
Yeah.
I'll fact check my 80%, but I believe that's what I read. In other words, still, most of that money came from ad clicks. They have a vested interest in making sure that search remains competitive and viable for advertising.
Mm-hmm.
It may take somebody challenging that paradigm and saying, you know what, search is a utility. We are going to give you one answer to your question, and it's going to be the best answer possible. And we'll get our money from some other way.
Mm-hmm.
That other way will probably be, in my opinion, probably be from subscription. Instead of a free tool, you're going to pay $12 a month to use it or something. Any rate.
People do for YouTube. People do for Spotify.
Yeah.
Ad free.
Ad free. And in fact, Chat GPT, their 4.0 version, if you want that, I think it's the pro version, is fee per month.
Mm-hmm.
And that gives you not just better results, it gives you richer responses as far as making the citations more readily available, as far as tailoring the response length, what they're expecting, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
The model of a for-fee search engine or answer engine, if you will, is already there. I believe they're testing it. We're getting pretty far away from 60% of searches don't result in a click. However, that's what we're leading to.
Yeah.
Consumers are giving the indications that they just want answers to some things. They don't need to be led to someplace to get the same answer.
Mm-hmm.
They want to ask a question and get an answer right here and now. And this is pushing them toward being answer engines instead of search engines.
Yeah. So what do you think, Stu, that this means for marketers?
The thing that we have to do is you have to look elsewhere in Google search. If you want to optimize your experience, not optimize your experience, but optimize the traffic to your website, first off, you should never have been counting totally on Google search. You need to be considering that your job in organic traffic is organic social, organic search. You need to make sure that you have such things as guest blogging, anything you can think of that contributes traffic to your website without a fee necessarily is going to become organic traffic. It may be labeled referral, may be labeled anything else, but it's non-paid traffic. Another article I think that came out after the 60% clickless search results, and I think it's even mentioned in the article. There's 7 other places you need to be active in to make sure that your website is developing traffic that you don't pay for. And that's true. You don't just place your bet all on one horse. Make sure that you have yourself covered across the spectrum of discoverability, if you will. So,
did you say there were 7?
I think that's what the article said, was that there were 7. And here, I just opened it up. Let's take a look here real quick. Google launched AI overviews in May. And, well, yeah. Here it is. Search everywhere optimization. 7 platforms SEOs need to optimize for beyond Google. We'll get this link in there as well. And the things that they're talking about is what is search everywhere optimization? And they talk about a number of different places you need to make sure optimizing social. For example, TikTok. Optimizing for things such as Snapchat. Because we've discussed this before. If you're under the age of maybe lower 30s, you probably turn to TikTok for answers more than you do Google.
Yep, I know all of my teenagers do.
Yeah. Um, my own daughter does, and she's not a teenager. She about has one of her own.
Mm-hmm.
She goes to Snapchat and TikTok to find out information more than she turns to Google.
Mm-hmm.
This has to do with preference more than anything else. Answer quality, who knows? The people who do this would prefer to get information from somebody who's used it rather than an answer provided from the source that they're going to get the solution from. So yeah, 60% of clicks no longer, 60% of searches no longer result in a click. You got it. They don't.
To me, that speaks a lot to discussing the experience around your service or your project or your product, not just here's the thing we have. That's just not going to fly anymore, whether it's on social or Google or whatever platform.
Yeah, and we could consider this to be the warning shot across the bow. And how slow this evolution happens, I don't know. I expect it to be much more accelerated than some of the other features that have been added into Google. I think that the pace of adoption of AI into Google, answer engine versus search engine, I think it's going to be much more fast paced than we're probably anticipating at the moment. Because Google's client is the search user. That's who they want to satisfy. And people are saying this at the top of their lungs. Yeah, so I'm not surprised by the number. I think there's a lot of explanation around the number, but I don't think it's going to change. I think we're going to see more and more clickless behavior going on. And yeah, our organic traffic is generally increasing across websites. What about the ones that don't come to the website? Are they getting the information that we want them to get? Are they getting it from us?
Mm-hmm.
The way to assure those two things is by having a multi-prong attack or optimization rather than attack. That multi-prong optimization plan that has your presence on TikTok, that has your presence in Google and other organic search, that has your presence across multiple sources so that you're driving not just general traffic, but meaningful traffic to the website. Yeah. And to bring it to Google, Google doesn't say how many searches are conducted every day, but it's estimated to be 8.5 billion searches every day. And what Google is saying is we have access to 8.5 billion searches every day. Advertiser will rent you access to that, but you'll have to compete against others to bid. And whoever's willing to pay the most for that access gets it.
How many billions of those do you think are from us, Stu?
I'm thinking about half that.
Thanks for listening to Did I Say That Out Loud with Stu Eddins and Mariah Tang. Check out the show notes for more information about today's episode. And if you have any questions, concerns, or comments, hit us up anytime at staymates.com.